Hi, and welcome back to the next session. Today we're going to go over absolute versus relative references. What that basically means is when you are doing a formula in here, you might have certain numbers, say in these cells here, that you wanna reference, and say you're over here, you're writing a formula, and you want to add a few numbers together. You can do plus G2. See if you see up here, it's G2. Say plus G3. So right now the formula is G2 plus G3. You got 34 plus 23. You should expect to see 57. Press enter, and that's what we get. But now if we copy this down, when you can to copy it down, you could either go to the lower right, get that little black plus, and drag it down, or you can go up to edit, then copy, or just Control C, then the copy's on, and we're going to go here, Control V. But now we copied it down, and all of a sudden we got a total of 579. If we look at this cell, the formula up here shows G3 plus G4. Before we were here, we were G2 plus G3. So as we copied it down, the numbers, the reference, increased. So that's what's called a relative reference. It changes based on where we move the formula. Now if we move it down again another, we're at G4 plus G5, which is 556, and there's nothing in G5, so it's 0. So that's why we have 556. Say we wanted to always be adding G2 and G3 together, and let's still copy it down. What you need to do is put dollar signs in front of what you want to stay constant. So in here we put a dollar sign in front of the G, a dollar sign in front of the 2. So then this is always G2. Here if we put a dollar sign in front of the G, say if we don't put the dollar sign in front of the 3, we just press enter. Now let's see what happens when we copy it down. I'm going to copy it down here. And so here was G2 plus G3. Now it's G2 plus G4. And then here it's G2 plus G5. See what happened was this is constantly G2. No matter when we copy it down, it's always going to say G2 because the dollar sign are anchors. This is what is a constant reference. But we never anchored the 3. So when you copy it down, it becomes G4. If we were to copy it over to the right, and we look at it, it'll stay the same because we're moving columns. The number is still staying the same. We're just moving columns over. So that would stay the same. So if we want this always to be G2 plus G3, we need to put dollar signs in front of both. Say if we got rid of this G, we pressed enter. So now we have G2 plus G3. If we copy this down, it's always going to be G2 plus G3 because since we're staying in the same column, the column reference isn't changing. But when we do copy it over to the right, here the column reference is changing to H. So that's basic overview of absolute versus relative reference. You want to be sure you're always when you're writing formulas. This is a simple one, an addition one. But when you get into the more complicated functions, like say a VLOOKUP or text, if you want something to stay constant, especially in VLOOKUP, you always have to make sure you have the dollar signs if you don't want that cell to change. And that's about it. Thanks.